Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Basketball Weekly, brought to you by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo basketball program, Matt Lodek, as we take a look back at this past week. And boy, for the third straight year, a thriller at Gentile Arena and coming up just a little bit shy, almost snapped Loyola's long home winning streak that reached 30 in a double overtime game. And certainly, I think in that effort, there was a lot to be proud of. What did you like about the way the team played? And then how did it ultimately come up a little short?
Well, I thought we played really, really well together. I thought, one of the challenges with the guys is, we were getting out rebounded pretty earlier in the year. And, I just think that we've gotten better in that regard. I thought we did a lot of things to win a game, and did a lot of things to win a game on the road. Like, one of the things we talk about defensively is, like, can we guard well enough to win, and can we guard well enough to win on the road? And I thought for the most part we did that. It was a heartbreaker because, in reality, I think if we get the ball in bounds at the end of the game, we win. And we just weren't able to do that. And part of that process is just, in some ways, just kind of learning how to finish a game, learning how to win. We've had a lot of close games that just haven't gone our way. Didn't execute at the end of the game in the second overtime. And so we've just got to, get better at it. I think it was a really emotional loss for us. I do think that carried over a little bit into the Missouri State game, which was, we didn't perform very well in that. But again, hopefully it's just part of the process of it. I think, we've kind of talked, we've thrown away an at-large bid a while ago. We've just got to continue to get better and continue to stay together and move forward. And I think this group, and we've had a lot of positives in the midst of adversity this year. One of them, just watching, we had a freshman walk-on start for us at Loyola, who's ranked this week and played 40 minutes and was really good. And then, at home, we had another freshman point guard come in and play fantastic. He was the best player on the floor for us against Missouri State. So there are some positives that we've got to build on that. We can't let the frustration, and there is some frustration, right? We just can't let that be overwhelming. Keep a positive mindset and keep moving forward.
Before we talk about the next game, I want to follow up on each of the players you just mentioned. Tell me about Preston Readinger's story, and how does he go from a non-scholarship player to someone that's starting a couple games for you here?
Well, the first is injury. Right. We have a 6-year point guard that, the one thing I admire about Trevor is, he has a very uncommon just will. And I think, his injury happened right before the Northern Iowa game. And to be honest with you, when we were at Northern Iowa, he shouldn't have played in that game. And he tried. He tried. And then when he says, I can't play, it's pretty significant. And then, again, I think he's, even the Missouri State game, it's just, one of those injuries. He had a huge back brace on. And it's just hard, it's hard to play, but I admire the will. I admire the toughness. I really do. And I think it sets a tone for some of the younger guys, just watching a veteran compete and have a willingness to go out there when they're not 100%. So, but with injury, right, there's just opportunity to step in. And I thought, one of the things with Preston, right, is he is a very tough young man. He's from Wisconsin. His dad's a coach. So I don't think he's afraid of the moment. And he was able to step in a pretty big game and play really, really well for us. He had a couple key huge baskets, played good D. And I think, as I look at, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about Darius here, but I think in their minutes in the last, or since the Valley started, I think they might be 16 assists and 3 turnovers. And that's really good for freshman point guards. And so we want to continue to celebrate that and continue to get them better. But we've liked a lot of what we've seen. Very long-winded way to talk about Preston, but he was honestly a COVID casualty as far as recruiting, right? He just missed the last summer that we were all able to evaluate. So no one saw him. He was hurt that summer. Had a great senior year, but again, no one could see him. And, as he had some, Summit League interest and Summit League offers. But he has been a guy that's wanted to play in the Valley for a long, long time. And, we jumped in there pretty late and he bet on himself coming here. Nothing was promised to him, and obviously he's shown in a very short time that he really belongs in this program as someone that could have a lot of affect a lot of wins. So we're excited about him.
Let's talk more about Darius' story. You alluded to him a little bit there. Just what stood out to you to begin with Darius, and how does kind of this season unfold for him and leading into the way he played on Saturday against Missouri State?
Well, one of the things, and I thought again against Missouri State, the way they defend is a little bit unique in the league, right? They don't really let you shoot any threes, right? They just try to expand out. They want you to kind of play 3-on-3 in the middle of the floor. And I thought early in the game, we were having a hard time beating our guy off the dribble, right? And kind of creating that domino. We insert Darius, and he had no problem doing it. I mean, he was, getting in the lane. He was scoring himself. He was creating offense for others. It was fun to watch. I mean, you talk about a true point guard in a lot of ways, taking over a game. They don't necessarily take it over maybe the traditional way of scoring. They take it over by, manufacturing offense for other people, pressuring the basketball. He did a great job of that. Darius is the son of the head coach at Ryerson College up in Canada, formerly the head coach over at McGill. So he is a coach's son. His dad's coached on the national team. Someone that I've known a long time in the profession, respect him a whole lot. And so his recruiting process, obviously we had a little bit of familiarity just having competed against McGill and his dad a couple of times on some foreign tours. And so, someone that we tracked and liked and, thought, and again, this would be high praise a little bit, but, saw a little Fred VanVleet in him, just kind of a guard in the Valley that had a lot of success. And I think the next step for Darius is just to become a little bit more of a consistent shooter. But I also know the kid works at it. And so, we've got a couple pretty good young guards that we're excited about.
Let's talk follow up more on Saturday's game. You've had time to watch the film. I guess if you had to point toward one thing, what's the most important thing to improve upon or to correct going forward following the game against Missouri State?
Brandon, as I look at it, like we didn't start the game very well on either half. And I thought our pace was off. I think in any way, if you're going to be good in this game, right, you got to play with pace. You got to fly around. We talk about like, if you're going to make a mistake, let's just make an aggressive mistake. And I think we were just tentative to start that game. We got down 8-2. And I thought it could have been more, right? I thought they missed a couple open threes. Missouri State's one of the better, offensive teams in the country. And then when we started that second half, we lost that first segment 17-6. So 8-2, 17-6, that's 17 points, right? And we lost the game by 17 points. So really the rest of the 30 minutes was pretty even. And so, the challenge is, look, and maybe we got to tweak some stuff in the lineups and things like that, to try to solve some of those problems, but we got to start games better. And I thought, we did it against Loyola. I mean, I thought we showed up ready to compete right away. And we just got to find that consistency, and this group's got it. It's been a little bit of an up and down road for us, but it's got it. And again, we've got to remain positive. We can't, we can't, as a coach in a program, you never can get too high and you never can get too low. And we just got to maintain some positivity, keep these guys going, and keep getting better every day.
For the first time this season, you play a team you've already played previously in the year, and different from a year ago, where for the most part you were playing back-to-backs against teams. So how's this different now, playing a team for the second time, and what adjustments do you make before taking on UNI on Wednesday?
Well, I think UNI, before the last time we prepped for them, right? They had been, they played a lot with Fife at the 5. And, he's had some just kind of complications with COVID, and, we wish him nothing but the best, but they're playing a little bit small now. And so they got a skilled 5 out there. They're playing great. They did not start the year very well. And I think everyone in the Valley knew that they were going to figure it out. And I think one of the reasons, and just talking to Coach Jacobson, one of the reasons they started that was they were dealing with a lot. They were dealing with injuries. They were dealing with sickness. I guess they'd gone over to Hawaii and played. And he told me before that last game, like 3 or 4 of his guys probably shouldn't have played. They had non-COVID illnesses, but they were just, sick. And so, some of the losses mounted up on them. But again, they always do, right? Northern Iowa just kind of stays the course and have gotten better, and they won a lot of close games. And we know we got our hands full. They put you, obviously got a lot of guys that could shoot from deep. And and the challenge with that is, right, you got to guard the 3-point line, but you don't want to give up points to the paint. And I thought last time we gave up too many points in the paint, and so we want to do a good job of protecting our paint and fanning out and keeping a hand up on shooters. So that's the adjustment. But again, we're working on us a lot too, Brandon. Like we know that we've had our fair share of setbacks, with injuries and guys playing different roles. And, now we've got, our starting point guard's been kind of hobbled a little bit and stuff. So we're working on us, trying to figure us out. And I think that's the right way to do it, as opposed to just continually like constantly prepping. We know we need to get better, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo basketball program, Matt Loddick. Again, another home game this week. We hope to see you at the Arc. It's a 6 o'clock start on Wednesday night. For ticket information, you can visit valpoathletics.com/tickets. We'll talk to you again next week on Valpo Basketball Weekly, brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.